Hi everyone, it's Joe Signorelli with OPG Advisor. It is 11 on the nose. We're letting people filter in a little bit, so just hang out for a minute and we'll come back and get started with the content. So just hang on for about 1-2 minutes. Thanks. Okay, it's Joe again. I'm going to keep us on time. A lot of times on the live side, we get people late and end up listening to the recordings on a more scheduled basis, so that's fine. Just a reminder for everybody that if you haven't, go to the new website to reset your password, ourpeergroup.com, same URL. Make sure you're doing that, and any questions, you can give me an email, and I'll help you out. Today, we're going to spend a few minutes with Movius and the T-Mobile multi-line for text and WhatsApp capture. I'm using it myself right now and starting the process, so it's been an interesting topic for me with all of the compliance stuff around these days in the news for hedge funds and advisors in regards to text retention. So Amy and Frank were nice enough to join us to give us a little recap on what they're doing and what they're seeing in their system. So Amy is the director of sales. Frank is, I believe, client manager. And I'm going to turn it over to them. They're going to run it. And if you have any questions, use the questions or the chat box to submit in. And, we'll also send this around to the wider group so that everyone, can follow up directly if they want. So Amy, Frank, I throw it over to you. All yours.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. As Joe said, Frank Wicker, Client Success Manager here with Movius. So what Amy and I'd like to do is we're going to go through a presentation here, show you some of the basics of multi-line, and then really spend more time talking about the use case and why it fits in your space. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We are monitoring that as well. But in the respective time, we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Essentially, T-Mobile multi-line is, in a nutshell, the ability to take a company-owned phone, like to put a secondary number on any cell phone, and that number is company-owned. It does not interfere with anything on the native device, so you're able to keep your personal communications personal and keep your business communications business. So let's go ahead and move to the first slide here. Just want to talk a little bit about our value proposition. First goal is to protect the firm, right? Our solution is designed to protect the firm, protect its assets, including its people, and then enhancing the customer experience. So we understand people want to text these days. They don't want to do actual phone calls. They want quick answers, quick questions. So we're able to do that safely with the multi-line product. And then on top of it, we're increasing employee productivity, right? If you're able to get to the customers on their level, chances are you're going to get more out of them. So everything that our solution does fits those three categories. So let's take a look at the mobile client. Now, the one thing that we take pride in is our client looks and feels just like the native device that you have downloaded it onto. So if you have it on an Android, it's going to look and feel just like an Android device. And then as you can see in these slides here, if it's on an iPhone, it's going to look and feel just like an iPhone. We do that by design because we also understand the challenges of trying to launch a new communication tool. If it's even the tiniest bit cumbersome or the tiniest bit complicated, chances are the end users are not going to use it, right? So what we do is we just completely flatten the learning curve. If you know how to use your phone, then you will know how to use multi-line. So if you take a look at some of the screenshots here, this first one on the left just shows you, you see on the bottom there, the native iPhone phone dialer, the native messaging app on an iPhone. And then you'll see that little black phone icon. That's going to be the multi-line application. So you open up the multi-line application, and then these are just some screenshots inside the application. And again, you'll notice this is the contact log. It's going to look and feel just like the native contact log on the iPhone. Same thing with the dialer. Same thing with the inbox for messages. You'll see it looks and feels just like the iPhone. So, if they know how to use their native device, which if it's their native device, they know how to use it, they're going to know how to use this application. Like I mentioned, it works on any Apple or any Android smartphone, so no complications there. It also is carrier agnostic, so it does not matter what the native service is on the phone. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, does not matter. The application will work. It's carrier agnostic. And then the application gives you the ability to separate your calls, messages, voicemails, WhatsApp, all of that. And then how to manage it, right? So,
Frank, can I ask you a question just on that point?
Yep.
Just talk a little bit about the separation point that you made. I know a lot of people don't want to capture phone calls and record phone calls and all that. Just talk about the ability to separate that from just capturing text.
I mean, it's really just that. So everything that you do with your multi-line phone number, because again, it's a secondary phone number. So you're putting a second number on a cell phone. Think of it like as a company, if you were giving your end users an actual phone, you're doing that without the hardware. So everything that you do with that multi-line phone number stays within the multi-line application. So it's completely separate from anything else that's on the phone. And the recording piece is just that. You either record messages or you record messages and calls. That's really it.
You can select and provision it the way you want it, so it's not an issue for those of us who don't want phone calls.
Yep, fully customizable. Even if you had, let's say you have a total population of 100, but 20 of them you want to capture calls and messaging, and the other 80 you want to capture messaging, you can do that. It's all fully customizable, and it's all done at the management portal level, which we're looking at here. Again, management portal, same thing as the application. We want to make it as easy as possible to use. So you'll see here, there's a screenshot. It's just literally 6 little tabs there on the left-hand side to manipulate throughout the portal. And you can provision your numbers, right? So you're assigning numbers to employees, reassigning numbers. So, if Joe is in charge of this hedge fund and Joe leaves, and I take over for Joe, you literally can just go into the portal, unassign the number from Joe, reassign it to me. So it's seamless from the client's point of view, right? They just know the number that they call or text. So it's seamless for them from there. You get a ton of mobile usage reporting. Now, the way it works with the messaging is, and I always like to be upfront with this, we are not a storage company, right? We don't want your data. We want you to own and be in charge of your own data. So the way that works is it's captured in our cloud. By default, we hold it for 30 days. We will hold it for a maximum of up to 90 days. But what the majority of our clients do is they pair this with our digital safe product. And what that is, most clients already have an archiving platform that they use. So we directly offload to that archival platform. And we can do that via 3 different ways. We can do it through secure mail, we can do it through secure file transfer, or we can do it via API. But essentially, as soon as it hits our cloud, every 30 minutes, any messages that are captured are pushed to your archival platform, and then we securely purge the information once it's offloaded. Now, again, everything is fully customizable. So a lot of our clients will say, hey, we would like you to hold it for a few days past the offload, just in case, right? So we will do that for you. But again, we offload every 30 minutes, every message that's captured to your archival platform. And then every 24 hours, we also send what we call a reconciliation report. So you'll get a report that says, hey, we sent 500 messages to your archival platform today. And you're able to look at that and look at your archival platform and see that it matches. We're good to go. And then policy management. So this is where we talked about, like, you can assign this group needs to be monitored, this group does not. This group can forward their multi-line number to another number, this group cannot. It's all fully customizable, and it's all can be done right through this web portal. So some of the features, we've talked about some, and we'll kind of go through some of these others. So again, calls and messages through one secure client, and it's a business number on any cell phone. So it's a one unified client. Some of our competitors, it's a lot of a la carte and a lot of you have to go to this app for this app for that. This is all done within the multi-line application. So it's one client, one place to go for all of your business communications. We talked about any device, any carrier. The application will work on Wi-Fi, it will work on cellular data network, and it will work on cellular voice network. So that's a big advantage there as well. A lot of our competitors are data only. I'm sure we've all been in a scenario where you're trying to make a call over a data network and the data is unstable and you get terrible audio or a lot of cutting in and out, that type of thing. So that's where we have an advantage, and we have patents that make the ability for us to be able to do that. We do offer redaction and opt-in as well with the messaging. Again, redaction is fully customizable, so you can, flag a number that looks like an account, and it may look like it's an account number or a social security number, or you can block the word guarantee, or you can block swear words. And basically what happens there is if I'm, the end user and I try to send any one of those things, it just will not allow the application or the message to go out. And then opt-in, we do that via 2 flavors as well. Again, the messaging is fully customizable, but you can either do opt-in with consent, where if I'm part of OPG and I'm sending a text message to Joe, Joe's going to first get a message that says, hey, Frank from OPG is reaching out to you. Do you accept? And he has to type yes or no. If he types yes, then the message will go through. Or the other option is to opt in with waiver, where it doesn't require Joe the yes or no, but he's going to get a message first that says, hey, Frank from OPG is reaching out to you, and this communication is being monitored. So we do offer that as well. Again, the wording is all fully customizable, so you can change that to the wording that you prefer as well. We do integrate with pretty much any MDM. We have deep SDK integration with Intune and BlackBerry Works. But like I said, we work with any MDM, so you can, push it out to your end users from your mobile device management portal. Advantages with Intune and BlackBerry are you get some additional features like click to call. So if you're in an email and you click on the phone number that's in the email, it's going to force the multi-line dialer. Also, you can enforce corporate policies that you may have, like I can't copy from this, application and paste it to that application. You can enforce some of those rules as well. We talked about the admin portal. You can onboard with a brand new number, or you can also port an existing number. So we do see a lot of clients that are like, hey, we have this desk phone that we don't use, but that's on my business card. You can port that number into multi-line, or you can just go with a brand new net number. T-Mobile supplies those as well. And then the last piece is we do have a pretty robust AI department right now. The AI that is built into the application is solely based around customer support. So think about today just with your cell phone in general. You try to send a text message, and if it fails, what do you have to do? You call into customer support. You're on the phone for God knows how long, and then you have to play 21 questions. With our AI baked into the application, if you're having that kind of issue with your multi-line, you're sending a message, it's not going through, you simply just click on help, click on the email section. It will automatically create a new email. You just type in the body what the issue is that you're having, and it will attach a log to the email with all of that information you would normally have to give to your customer support area. So like, what number were you dialing or sending a message to, where was your location, all of those things. And then it goes directly to our support team and files a ticket. And then they have 24-hour SLA to resolve the issue and also communicate back to the end user how they were able to do so.
It's Joe again, sorry. What if anything, maybe the answer is nothing, is different when they're using it with WhatsApp versus just regular texting? Same process, same rules, same feeling, or how does the feel sort of work with that?
So it's all done in a unified client, right? So you're not going outside of the application to WhatsApp or anything like that. We do use the certified business API with WhatsApp. So your multi-line number will be your WhatsApp number. So you can't use your, already established consumer-based WhatsApp.
You do that same phone icon app, or do you go into WhatsApp?
No, you don't go into WhatsApp. That's what I'm stating. It's in the multi-line application.
Got it.
So let me go back here. Let me see if I can go back and show you the screenshots here. So if you look at this screenshot here, everybody can see me circling the screenshot all the way to the right.
Yep.
So right at the top there, you see John Clear. It's got that little green bubble. That's a WhatsApp message.
Cool. Got it.
But this is the messaging tab for multi-line. So they're all going to be in this unified client. And you're able to tell by the little icon next to it what type of thread it is.
Perfect.
All right. So then, we're going to talk about some use cases. So I'm going to hand it over to Amy, and she'll take it over from there. So Amy?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Amy Stark here, Sales Director here at Movius. Thank you for having Frank and I on today. So I want to talk and spend a little bit of time talking about some use cases. At a high level, multi-line is a BYOD play, right? It is adding that second line on your current mobile phone that allows for a complete separation between business and personal. So a lot of businesses, we play into that just simply from not wanting to manage two phones, not wanting to manage the hardware, the cost of all of that, etc. But really, where we've had strong success, and I'm sure will be very familiar to you, is within the regulated spaces, especially financial services. Post-COVID, the SEC and FINRA have really cracked down and handed out some pretty severe fines for non-compliant communications. And so that's where we have, played into that space very strongly. As Frank mentioned, everything that's transacted through the multi-line application, whether it's inbound calls, outbound text messages, WhatsApp messages, can all be captured, recorded, and then offloaded to your archival platform. So, there's a lot of businesses out there that get the need to have this. There's still a decent amount of financial services people that say, well, we just don't allow our people to text. That's our policy. That's not a very good policy, moving forward, because, that's where the fines are. WhatsApp to communicate with clients. And so because all communication does have to be recorded, again, that's where we play very heavily into the regulated spaces within financial services. Next slide. Great. So a couple other, areas where we've seen success because, we do play into, regulated spaces, financial services, obviously being one of them. But also healthcare is another, option where we've seen some strong success because everything can be recorded within the app. That makes our application what we call HIPAA compliant. Also with insurance companies, if you've ever been on the other end of a phone call with an insurance company where, they say this call is being monitored for quality assurance, that's what multi-line can provide. As well as legal and law firms, are also utilizing the multi-line application for that compliance piece of it. But also, kind of going into that BYOD scenario, we've seen strong success within the education and like every industry, kind of like the nonprofits. Those people typically don't have a lot of money to spend on, second phones and providing, that level of mobility to the end user. And so that is where, we've seen some strong success also within nonprofits. So again, as Frank had mentioned, the company owns and manages your number. So, think about that. The business doesn't walk when the employee leaves, right? That number stays with your firm or company and can be reassigned. So again, another big advantage of going with multi-line. Providing that complete separate number between personal and business, it just allows for, very easy to use, all the communication, if I have to pull up a contact, somebody that I'm working with, it's stored in my multi-line application. So I don't have to fiddle through my personal texts or personal voicemails in order to find, an actual client. So it is very easy to use. Another thing with that is with the multi-line application, we provide what's called office hours, which can be very advantageous to a lot of businesses. So you have the ability to, whenever you want to receive communication, maybe it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you can set those office hours within the application itself. And then obviously from a compliance standpoint, this is, going to be very relatable to you guys as, we are that compliant and secure communication application within the financial services sector.
Amy, it's Joe again. Just a real rough back of the envelope. I mean, once somebody tells you they want to do this, what's the general process and time frame? Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it 3 months? How do you sort of look at it so people can think about how they need to schedule this?
Yeah. So, once kind of the order, form has been signed, because we partner with T-Mobile, so, they obviously bring a wealth of support to the table as well. So you would be assigned an account manager, an implementation manager, and then a solutions engineer, as well as Frank and myself. And so we help walk you through the whole onboarding and implementation process. We like to get the admins onboarded first. And then from there, they will distribute the invites in the portal to their people or the end users that will be using the application. So we do provide what we call admin portal training for those people that want to be noted or deemed as admins or super admins, people that, can see conversations that are happening within the portal or maybe want to have, access to certain reporting capabilities. From there, then, once everybody is onboarded with the multi-line application, we provide what we call end user training. So now all the invites have been distributed. Your people now have downloaded the multi-line application. And so, that training is pretty quick because, again, to Frank's point, this is just a second dialer on your phone. But we do like to go through a couple feature settings that are pretty popular within our application. So as long as nobody has any hiccups, and then your people are off and running and using the multi-line application. The only other thing that on the back end, typically within financial services, is setting up kind of the ingestion to your archival platform. That can take a couple days to make happen, just from the Movius working with whoever the archival platform and making sure that that's set up properly, and the ingestion is happening so that your conversations that are happening within the multi-line, are being recorded and ingested into that platform.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next slide. So again, we really do kind of run the gamut for all businesses. We got our success within financial services, simply due to kind of the mandation now of having, your text messages and that third-party communication like a WhatsApp or a WeChat, all being recorded. Any carrier, any smartphone, again, we keep you on the device that you're used to using, which is important. A lot of times when companies hand out, two phones, you're not typically using maybe that same device that you're used to using, or even that same, set of kind of options within the phone. So we keep you in, exactly what you're used to using. Let's see what else on here we're not touched on. I think we talked about the deployability, the central control of numbers, and the management. Again, you own the numbers and can be reassigned. So, really kind of run the gamut between the BYOD and also the regulated industries. Next slide. So this is where we've seen some success also, playing into, whatever this corporate stipends, kind of run the gamut of all businesses out there. And so we've really been a disruptor with multi-line. Typically companies are offering, anywhere from $30 to $50 to $100 a month for the use of your cell phone for business purposes. And multi-line, at a BYOD play is $17 per user per month. So you put that cost savings together, from a month and then a year, and it is significant savings. We've seen this actually work two ways. Some businesses are like, this is what I am providing to my employees. Now it's going to be the multi-line application. We've also seen some companies that say, well, technically my employee, is still using their phone, so I want to give them something for that. And so they'll take the cost of the multi-line application, with what they're comfortable giving that employee for that use. And it's still lower than what they were giving them for the corporate stipend monthly. So something also to think about, as you move through kind of the multi-line application. Yes, so we are very proud of a lot of our logos for multi-line. So, we've got several of the top tier 1 banks out there. We've put up a couple logos here. But, the smaller, tier 2 banks and on down are not, they're still getting the fines handed out to them. And so, they're not immune to the cause here. And so, we really do kind of work with the full gamut, everyone from tier 1 all the way down to tier 2. So next slide. Just a few other logos here, as we've launched the product with T-Mobile. So as Frank mentioned, the relationship there is, we can issue a brand new number to be used as your multi-line number, but we also have the option to port a number over to be used as your multi-line number. So kind of two ways that we can work with T-Mobile. They are our exclusive partner in the US and how we sell multi-line. Because we are a software application, we do need a phone number to attach it to in order to make it that true dedicated second business line. So just a glimpse, of the diversity of the verticals that we have for multi-line here. And then I'll kick it over to Frank. I think he's going to go through the last two slides here.